Conference, of course, a prominent part of the Nigeria Fintech Week. I am Tosin Odunfa, and I'm your conference moderator. I'm really excited to be here today because indeed I am aware that this platform is one that indeed helps to promote innovation and indeed can help to stimulate Nigeria's economy overall. Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware that the theme of this year's event is surviving with fintech innovation. And yes, indeed, the question is, what are the sustaining factors? Yesterday's keynotes, panels, and roundtables were insightful as well as thought-provoking. We also had demos and pitches. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the critical milestones yesterday is that you learned for the first time here at the National Fintech Conference that Echo Bank is about to catalyze free USSD services to deepen inclusion. That definitely was an exciting milestone. And yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, today is certainly a day that we expect to be just as exciting. We look forward to even more exciting milestones. There's going to be quite a few exciting panels, roundtables, and the like. And the general approach, ladies and gentlemen, is to go through very important subject matter. We're going to be looking at spurring fintech innovation, artificial intelligence, financial inclusion is going to be on the table. The expanding and important role of women in technology, blockchain, edtech, open banking, and cybersecurity. These are some of the panels and the sessions that we look forward to you participating in and helping to continue to catalyze the conversations that help to spur further innovation. And yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to move straight to the first item on the agenda. And it is the first keynote that comes to us from a man who was recently adjudged the best CEO at the Digital Innovation and Excellence Awards in 2019. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an individual who believes strongly that organizations must continue to reinvent themselves in order to survive as long as the 125-year-old organization that he leads. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Dr. Adesola Adedutan, the CEO of First Bank Nigeria, is Mr. Callistus O. Obeta, the Group Executive for Technology and Services of First Bank. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as he makes his way to the stage for the first keynote address. Thank you very much, sir.
President, Fintech Association of Nigeria, Dr. Aino, Chief Operating Officer for Nigeria Fintech Week, Dr. Bremer, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have been asked by the Managing Director from this event, but rest assured that Dr. Adedutan is a keen fan of technology. As a matter of fact, over the last 3 years, First Bank has been pursuing a strategy of growth driven by technology and innovation. So it's really indeed an honor to be asked to do this keynote address. Coincidentally, exactly 2 weeks ago, First Bank also organized Fintech Summit 3.0, of which the theme is really about how technology and banking is solving real-life problems, whether it's in terms of business, in terms of lifestyle, or as a matter of fact, extending to areas of risk and crime prevention. So it is really something that's very topical to First Bank. For some of the fintechs that are here that happen to have been at the First Bank Summit, some of the concepts I will be discussing today, you may have heard them at the First Bank Summit, It's not a repetition per se. It just goes to illustrate how important these things are to our survival of the industry. Why they set up the slides. Just got a few slides. It's a 10-minute keynote, so I will try and do fast about it.
Please bear with us. Some temporary technical difficulties. We hope it should be sorted out in under 1 minute.
Almost there.
All right, the clicker will be with you in 10 seconds.
So over the next 3 or 4 slides, what I would like to share is look at the global trends, the factors that's driving the growth. Look at what we see in the Nigerian space, and then also share some of our experience in First Bank, how we are helping to sustain the growth within the fintech space. I think globally, the adoption rate has really picked up, more so in the emerging markets. For example, in China and Asia, the report indicates a 7% adoption rate. So even for the advanced countries of the OECD countries, the rate is still relatively very high. And as a consequence of this, what this has helped to do is we're seeing a lot more access to customers and businesses to financial services. And another strong indicator that this is going on is also in terms of capital flows, in terms of investment funds by the venture firms going into fintechs. Now, what do we see as what are the enabling factors? 5 major areas. One is investment into that space. Between 2017 and 2018, we have seen the venture capital investment in fintech triple from 13 billion in 2017 to 39 billion in 2018. So that's a very strong, and as we know, investors invest for returns. So there's a high forecast in terms of rewards, and that is what's driving that. But what we've also seen from research is that the number of projects being invested upon is reducing, which means that the venture capitalists are also looking at, they're also being very selective, even though the ticket sizes are increasing. Another factor that is also driving this growth is innovation hubs. Okay, again, pulling resources together, and we're seeing a lot of that in China and India, where a lot of speed is going on account of the innovation hubs. Guys, if we bring it home to Nigeria, we also know about the Andela story at the Yaba corridor and pockets of what's happening in Enugu. I also understand there's something also happening in Abuja, in various parts of the countries. And very fundamental to this growth is also on the technology space. The drive towards open banking is also facilitating the ecosystem banking. Now, for Nigeria, we are seeing a lot of this happening already, especially on the retail payments, person-to-person payments, in lending. This is really where we are seeing a lot of the growth on digital payments, and we also begin to see micro-lending. And for First Bank also, we are now taking this further into the financial inclusion, that is the unbanked space. So nearly 60%. It would have been impossible to achieve this level of growth without the fintechs. And 2 other important factors that has happened recently that will also help to facilitate this growth is the recent central bank regulation or strategy to promote at least 80% financial inclusion. So that has opened up a whole new vistas of opportunities that we can only seize. The traditional banking model, which is branch banking, even with the app banking, cannot achieve this level of growth within a short space of time. So technology is the only platform that can enable the operators achieve that level of scale. Of course, the telecoms, the data penetration, smartphone penetration are also platforms that can help to achieve that. But if we look at Nigeria, we see 5 major areas that will limitate this growth. One is in terms of regulation. The rate of growth in this space is way so rapid that the regulatory foundations is still lagging behind. The other component is around funding. A lot of these fintechs, what they are selling is their intellectual property. But then they need to invest in office space. They need to recruit employees. They need to work with the PR companies and the marketing companies to promote their ideas. Another major factor that we have seen from our own experience is lack of credible data. Data is a new currency, as it were. But again, the data sources is still evolving. Within the banking sector, for example, now the BVN has really helped. But then again, BVN is only speaking to the ones already within the banking system. It does not address the financially excluded. But there's a lot of work going on by the NIMSI, by the BVN, and the Nigerian Bureau for Statistics to create more data that will facilitate business within that space. Another component is on the area of partnership, and this is really where I would like to spend some time on, that the fintechs definitely need partnerships to be able to scale their ideas. And I would like to discuss a couple of the things that we are doing in First Bank. But before I go to that, let me mention that, with 18 million customer base, 10 million cards in issue, and over 36,000 agents, first money agents within the country, First Bank really is leading in this space. And I would like to mention how we are working to sustain the innovation through the fintechs. So 2 years ago, First Bank set up the Innovation Lab to do three things. One is to look at our existing offerings to see how best they can enhance the features, but more importantly also to serve as an incubator and as a hub for fintechs within the Yaba area. And within that ecosystem, we have made a lot of successes in that regard. We provide office space, provide a platform where fintechs can come in and pilot their ideas with the bank. And then for those ideas that have promise in terms of viability, actually work with them to develop that. On the bank side also, we are providing a platform as a bank as a service. So providing APIs which the fintechs can use to test out their ideas. And we have seen a lot of success within that space. In the last 2 years, the bank has also organized hackathons where we invite really startups to come and experiment with a lot of the ideas. And for those ideas that have been proven to have minimum viable propositions, we've actually gone ahead to develop those concepts with the fintechs. I already spoke about the Innovation Lab. We are also building an aggregator platforms that will enable small and medium enterprises to connect through the bank and be able to offer their goods and services online to the largest audience possible. A platform that ordinarily on their own, they will have no means whatsoever to build that. And again, a lot of successes is being recorded within that space. And I would like to conclude by mentioning that we have recently also set up SME Hub, because we recognize that the fintechs come within the SME space. And one of the major problems that they have is lack of access, lack of funding, lack of platform, lack of resources to set up a proper governance structure. So what we've done is we've formed a network of lawyers and accountants and marketers and have their services accessible to the SMEs at a heavily discounted rate. We've also providing, like I already mentioned, we're providing APIs and data exchange with the fintechs. And then also, while the fintechs tend to be very technologically savvy, we also understand that they have a need to also develop their entrepreneurial capabilities. So we also set up entrepreneurship boot camps where we train them on rudimentary how to build a business, a sustainable business model. And in some of the projects that we run with the fintechs, we also come into fee sharing arrangements. So we finance the infrastructure, provide access to the customer base, provide the access to our customers basically, and then for the fees that we earn from using their platform, we go into share sharing arrangements. So we basically take the business risk, as it were, but they get reward for coming up with the ideas. So several fronts where we are trying to help the fintechs deal with the issue of access, deal with the issue of capacity, deal with the issue of building up entrepreneurship skills that they require to run a. It's very clear to us that we will not be able to achieve our strategic goal on our own. We have through partnerships. And once again, truly honored to be doing this keynote address on something that we think is very important, not just for the bank, but for the country. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, once again for Mr. Callistus Obeta, the Group Executive for Technology and Services for First Bank, representing Dr. Adeshola Adedunton, CEO of First Bank Nigeria. He has definitely demonstrated how fintech friendly and the entire ecosystem friendly First Bank Nigeria is. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight to keynote address number 2. Now, the United Kingdom, despite having a financial inclusion rate that is above 95%, and with a population of about 66 million, works hard to reach the 1.5 million unbanked population. And of course, half of this, according to the Financial Inclusion Commission, do not even want a bank account. But yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst the Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen. And she is indeed a most distinguished and accomplished diplomat. Can we please welcome to the stage Harriet Thompson, the Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as she makes her way to the stage. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. Dr. Segun Aina, the President of the Financial Technology Association of Nigeria, fellow diplomats and champions of fintech in Nigeria. It's a